Welcome back to Women, Wine and Wisdom, guys. I'm Naomi.
I'm Jimmy.
And today we are going to be talking about, can women have it all?
Do you think they can? Do you tell us? Yeah, you tell us.
Let us know your thoughts.
But before we do that, obviously we're going to introduce our wine. So today we have a wine gifted to us from Fujara Films. 19 Crimes, The Uprising. It's a red wine bottled in 2021 and it's part aged in rum barrels. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually southeastern Australia where the origin is. So yeah, I'm looking forward to trying it and we'll let you know.
Same. Looking forward to it. Should we cheers?
Of
cheers.
Course.
You know, Jimmy likes
Cheers,
to be disrespectful sometimes.
Ooh. I can taste the aging in rum.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
It is. I quite like that. I like that.
What a unique taste. I wasn't expecting that.
No.
Okay. So can women have it all? Yes or no? Don't try grey area me as well.
I think in this with that kind of question, you can only have a grey area. Because I mean, can they have it all? I feel like I know my answer. I feel like they can't, let's be honest. Okay, women cannot have it all. They can't have it all. But they can have a bit of both. They can have they can try to aim for a balance. And so essentially, you know, it's not to say that if women want to have a family, they can't still strive to have a career. You can, but you may find a lot of challenges along the way.
Yeah, I see. For me, can women have it all? My immediate answer would be no. But you can have it all in certain parts of your life. Does that make sense? Explain. Or do I need to explain? Okay. Explain. So I feel like if you're 28 and you want to have the amazing career, the amazing house, the beautiful husband, the beautiful kids, it's very unlikely. That's not going to happen. Yeah. Some people might be lucky it might happen, but I feel like women can have it all at particular points. So for example, if you want to be career driven, I feel like you need to dedicate yourself to your career for a certain point. If you want to be family driven, and then so let's say you've kind of hit a peak in your career, you are where you want to be. Then you're like, oh, actually, I want to go into family phase. And that might be another 2 years where you meet your husband, you get married. Let's say you've known each other for a while. One of them will dip, and that might be the career where you're pregnant because you can't actually be at work, or where you're looking after the baby. So at that point, you might have the family. Yeah. Later on, where you might saving together, then you're like, oh, the 5-bed house with the wine fridge. Do you see what I mean? But it's all at different phases. I don't think we can ever have it all at once, but we can over a course of time.
Do you feel that it's a woman's responsibility to try and fight for trying to have it all? Or do you feel like society needs to do better to try and make it a more of a gender equality, for it to be flipped on its head so that it, you know, it's in balance?
Yeah, I just don't think there's that much that changes that are going to be made that's going to be beneficial, to be honest. Like, for example, I feel like us women need to find a way of managing it better. Because in the long term, how long are we going to, when are we going to see these changes? I don't see any immediate changes happening ASAP, if I'm completely honest. So I think it's about us women for now, knowing our bodies, knowing what works at what time, knowing what suits us at what age, and maybe working a bit better with our biological clocks. What do you think?
Yeah, I think, I feel like it's not all a woman's responsibility to basically just try to have it all. I think it should be a shared responsibility between her and her partner. Ultimately, I think it depends on the dynamic of the relationship. I think it is very, very subjective, and it is on a case-by-case basis. Yeah. Because some men are just happy, some women are happy to be stay-at-home wives or to prioritize being a family woman over having a career. Yeah, absolutely. Which is totally fine. In some families, they might say, okay, this is my time. So as a man, I'll be a provider while you're at home nurturing the kids. Yeah. But then when the kids are in school, or, you know, once they've gotten older, got to a certain age, then the roles can shift, and maybe I'll take more of the step back approach, and I'll be at home looking after the kids whilst you are going out to work. Because ultimately, we've explored this before, and I do believe that being like raising the kids and looking after the kids is a job within itself. Absolutely. It's not easy. It's not something that, you know, we can just brush past and just be like, oh, it's fine, she's just looking after the kids. No, it's a lot. It is. And so I think it depends on the dynamics of the relationship, but some people may feel like later on down the line that they want to have the balance where they, you know, they switch positions maybe 15 years into raising the children, you know, or they might just be happy with the setup of the wife being at home and the man going to work.
Yeah, so I must have misunderstood what you said. I thought we were talking about society and women, as opposed to partners and women, and women and their partners. Absolutely. Women and their partners, it's their job. But again, as a woman, society-wise, for example, and even in your relationship, I think we need to do what's best for us given the circumstances as well. You have to plan it with your partner. Otherwise, the family part won't work of that.
But the thing is, it's like, because you say that, but then you'll be surprised how many people, I don't think they've really considered the dynamics of how it's going to impact their careers and how it's going to impact them as a household when they have kids, because I feel like a lot of people don't see raising children as being a job because it's something that should be innate and it's something that should be natural. And so a lot of people don't see it as a job. And if you don't see it as a job, then you're never going to see it as ever needing a break from that or needing to prioritize and shift the order of priority.
I agree. And I think there's a lot of work that has been done to make sure that it's known now.
There is.
Yeah. And I think I think age also plays a massive factor in this, because I think the older you get, you realize more how expensive children can actually be and how morals make such a big difference between, you know, for your kids. So I do think now there are things in place that are helping.
Yeah. I think there could be more. I think the idea of gender roles is shifting slightly, slowly, but there's more men that are more willing to be a stay-at-home father. I mean, the percentage is super small. Like the percentage that I saw was only 4% in the UK.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Are stay-at-home dads.
Yeah,
which is, I mean,
I'm not surprised.
That's tiny. But
have you ever watched? There's I think there's a show on Netflix, and it's something about how to get rich, and I think it's called that. And it's basically, I think this financial advisor, and he goes to speak to different families. There was a stay-at-home dad on the show, and if you see the way his wife was speaking to him and disrespecting him, I'm not surprised that 4% of men want to stay at home, and the other 90-something, 96% want to go out and work and adhere to those gender roles. Do you think we're seeing a shift back to more traditional gender roles?
No.
Interesting.
I don't think so. I think in the Western world, so like places like the UK, in America, we are seeing so much more equality taking place, and we're seeing so much more, like there's been a steady growth in that, where you're seeing more, if men want to stay at home, for example, that is now becoming an option. We're seeing more companies, like a lot of the big tech firms are offering bigger paternity pays and paternity leaves, so that fathers can have spend more of that bonding time with their children. Whereas when you go to other places in the world, like the Middle East or like places in Africa, for example, the mother is still the main nurturer and the fathers are still the main breadwinners, and we're not seeing that shift as much.
Yeah, in Africa, I want to, because again, that's culturally as well. I feel like we see a lot of women that are the nurturers and women that are the breadwinners. Yeah, they do both. That's the thing. At least in culture, yes, it's the way it's kind of there are a lot of things in place for them for it to be set up to adhere to those traditional roles. So I do agree. I feel like we're seeing a slight shift back into men and women wanting more traditional roles. I think women now are, I don't know if it's the same for men, because men might want to do like, no, we want 50-50. Good luck with that. But we are seeing a lot of women who actually now want to be stay-at-home mothers, who want soft life, who want, be able to be feminine in their energy, start, working for their partners. For example, let's say he owns a property business, no names. Do you see what I mean? So some people are doing things. I feel like women are, even though we want it all, I'm slightly seeing
a slight kind of recline in the way that, and I do hear what you're saying, because we do see that. I wonder if that's more on a big scale, or is that kind of immediate people that we see? Do you see what I mean? That's because true. I feel like you are still seeing so much about, women, like for example, Arsenal, they've now made like the women's squad, it's a big thing now. It's not kind of like men up here and then women are down here. Like, so you're seeing so much more female movement and more women getting to the top. And we probably will always see, but I think if we're going to continue to see more movement of women kind of having their own lane and progressing in careers, business, tech, and kind of like creating those doors and opening those opportunities, then if we're saying that women can't have it all, then how does that then impact the family?
So the thing is, my argument to that would be, again, subjective. A lot of women at the top don't actually have a great relationship with their families. Women can't have it all. I was watching a TED Talk the other day, and I think it was this lady. She was basically saying, she was like the head of, I want to say Sony, but it could have been any like big company. And she was saying that in order for her daughter to reach her, she has to phone the receptionist, and the receptionist has to go through a list of questions.
That is ridiculous,
right, before. So it could be like she's calling because she wants to pay a PS5, right? And mum's so busy with work, she has the receptionist screen whether the child needs to talk to her or not. And now she said it herself. She's like, you can't have it all at that point in time. So no matter how many movements there is, there's always going to be continuous movements for women, because biologically we are not created to run at the same speed as men.
Do you feel like feminism has ruined it for women? Yeah, I said it.
So do I think feminism had a little bit? I feel like it depends on what area of the spectrum you want to sit on. Because for me before, I'd be like, no, Miss Independent. Now I'm like, no, can I have some money?
Do you feel like a woman can still be a feminist but not necessarily be bashful
this
towards...
rum taste. Yeah.
Do you feel like women can be feminist but not necessarily bashful towards men?
Yeah, I think you can. I think we all need to learn to be less bashful to each other as a society. Let's be honest. It's like, we bash each other for some things that are just really unnecessary. Unnecessary.
Super,
So yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
But do you think it's ruined do you think feminism has ruined it as well? Or no? What line do you sit on?
Do you know what it is?
Mm-hmm.
Because I know a lot of my friends are going to be keeping their ears very close to to YouTube right now, or Spotify or Apple. But I do feel that when it comes to feminism, it's all about social change, and it's meant to be in a positive way.
Yes.
But we do have subgroups within feminism, and those subgroups are groups like radical feminists.
Yes. Sociology, here we go.
Exactly.
Naomi's teaching us.
Who will be out there burning bras and, going all out and just being very rageful, and just, they're more likely to hate men.
Yeah. Have you seen the radical feminist who dressed up as a man, who went to study and dressed up as a man for a period of time, and she actually changed her ways after that, because she realized that actually she was saying that men actually need more love, and men actually need more looking after, and actually after experiencing what a man actually goes through, I think she even committed suicide after.
What?
Yeah. I don't know what the whole background story was, but yeah, radical feminist, went on did a study of seeing how it would be as a man in the world, and she was saying that men actually need more love.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe we should link that in the description.
If I can find it again, I'll definitely put it,
because that's quite an interesting study.
Yeah.
To go from radical to
suicide.
Suicide is crazy.
I think it was suicide. I have to double check, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah.
But yeah, no, I do feel like, the different subgroups has affected the way feminism has been perceived by society. I don't necessarily feel like all feminist approaches are bad. I think there's the good thing about it is the ability to have a level of equality and be seen. But it doesn't necessarily, or shedding light, shining light on important topics.
Absolutely.
Us being able to have the ability to work, even though some women will scream out here and say, I didn't want to work. So,
and it's funny because I'm pretty sure there's so many people that would say that.
There's so many people that would say that. But then also, that's part of the reason why you have an identity. That's part of the reason why you can get your hair done, go, do your nails and look good and get dressed up. So,
it's interesting. I have a counter to one of the, and I say this to someone at work, and it's just something you just said that made me think about. I was having a conversation with somebody at work, and it was like, it's part of your identity. I actually don't think that work should be part of your identity.
I mean, it's not necessarily part of you. It may not necessarily be part of your identity, especially if you, for example, like being a family person is like where you sit and that's who you are.
Yeah.
But it does add to your being. Like when people look at, like me, for example, they're going to know that, okay, you are associated with the property sector because that's where I've worked in. But I don't necessarily feel like, I'm tied to that one company, or that one company is like defines me or depicts the person that I am. Like no.
Yeah, that's what I think my only thing is. It's like, I don't think your work you should be your identity, because again, it depends on who you are as a person, but I think there should be way more things that make you up as a being.
Oh my God, yeah, absolutely.
Work should add to it.
Yeah, of course. So, I think there's so much more to it. I just gave that as
an example,
just in a general sense, because we're talking about the fact that women now have the independence and have the ability to be able to do more than what they could do back in the day, and working is one of the biggest things that they couldn't have before, that we can have at our leisure now.
I think the work identity thing is definitely more of a man's thing, and I think it's more of a status thing for money, but you are completely right in terms of it is the biggest thing. So in those kind of instances, I do feel like feminism has played a good part and has been instrumental in, for females. But then when people go out, they're burning bras and they're slating men. It's because that's when they take it too far. Bras are hard to wear. That's why. So I get it from that perspective. But other than that, meh. Again, do you know what? I mean, we both agree that women can't have it all. And do you know what I think examples are? There's rumours that Rhianna and Molly May are stepping down from, I don't know if it's Fenty Beauty that she's stepping down from, and Pretty Little Thing as the director, right? They just had children. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why I say, like, I feel like they had their career thing where they was on their peak. They've now decided, actually, do you know what? I've worked hard. It's time to have the family. They'll go through that phase for a little bit before they go into the next phase. So I just don't think it's feasible, because the thing is, in life, we have to make sacrifices. And unfortunately, women's sacrifices are just a little bit more in that regard when it comes to work.
Yeah. That's the thing. I think when it comes to deciding between work and family life, women are the primary carers for and nurturers for the children. So if you're, off going to work and your husband is staying at home, not to say that it's impossible, but that would mean you maybe not being able to breastfeed your child. Although there are breast pumps and you can store those milks, and
there's formula.
There's formula, and we understand that. But then the best bonding time is when you're breastfeeding.
Yes.
And so that's the whole premise.
That's what they say, but is that true?
I do believe so.
Yeah,
you've got your child looking at you in the eyeballs right there. Like some people say it's probably no different to giving them formula. But I think it's a special moment and a special time. And when I speak to a lot of mothers, they talk about how much the child grows and changes in that first year.
Yeah.
And I think being a part of that journey, like,
you always will be.
Yeah, it'd be so amazing. And so there is that kind of moment where, as a man and a woman, as a husband and wife, you may have to make that decision, or partner. You might have to make that decision on who's going to be at home nurturing the child for the first year.
Yeah.
Is it going to be me? Is it going to be you? And then
it's going to be me. But yeah.
you have to make that decision. And yeah. And whoever has to forfeit that decision, then the career is going to have to take the backseat, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then I think off the back of that as well, I feel like from a career perspective, a lot less people are likely to hire women who they know have kids. Because let's delve into it. Because if as an employer, not necessarily me, but if I'm a male employer, let's say, or even female, some females may see it in the same way.
Yeah.
They're interviewing a female, they know that they've got 3 kids. They are likely to think that the family is going to take precedence. Yeah. So if the child is sick, they're going to have to leave work.
And do you know what's so funny? It's the opposite for men.
Yeah.
It's the opposite for men.
It's the complete
when they have a
opposite
family, they're more likely to be hired because they know they have responsibilities.
Yeah, exactly.
Married, responsibilities.
Exactly.
Responsibilities is me. Add me to your list.
Add me to your list.
And your children, add them to your list. But yes, and that's the annoying thing. And this is what I'm saying. But there are so many blockers for women. Yeah. But and it goes back to what I was saying in the beginning, is we need to work out what's best for us and how we work with those obstacles, because we're always going to be faced with something. Yeah. Because we're just not designed the way men are. No. And it's unfortunate.
Yeah. But we're fighting a losing battle.
It almost feels like, ladies, we are being forced to rest in our feminine and let men do their jobs.
Yeah, just let men be men. Like,
yeah, I'm here for it though.
Let men be men. Like, I don't think we should try to fight for the responsibilities that they've been bestowed on them and try to prove ourselves, like, because who are we proving ourselves to at the end of the day?
That's it.
And I feel like, I do feel like a lot of the success of the family is looked at based on how the man looks after his family.
Absolutely. The way your woman looks is a representation of you. So
100%.
we know if you, bro.
If your kids are having talking trainers, then they're going to be looking at the man and thinking, you're not a provider.
Yeah, guys, ignore us because the economy is tight. But you know we got to make jokes.
We understand.
You know we got to make jokes. And I was going to say, how do you feel about the whole Molly May and Rhianna like stepping down? Mm-hmm. Do you think it's a good thing? And do you think it sends a good or negative message to women? What's your take on that? So I just threw you under the bus there with that question.
I know, it's like, it's quite subjective.
Yes.
So my response is going to be subjective, but I think it's a good thing. Mm-hmm. I think as a mother, you know, when I have children, I would like to think that I would
have the ability
to say, okay, work can park itself for a minute. I want to focus on nurturing and bringing up my children because I want to make sure I'm raising and pouring into my future generation. Mm-hmm. You know, they're like, I feel like children, and not to make it sound materialistic, but they're your biggest investment. Yeah. You know, if your child fails in life, you as a parent will feel like a failure.
Ooh.
Oh, did I?
You know,
did I go there?
Yeah, I mean, it's so funny because I want to say true, but there are some parents out there that are rowdy and just don't actually take their kids into consideration, and that comes from working in the school. So I agree with you, but some parents genuinely don't care.
Well, we'll explore that in our episode Absent Fathers, so check that out. But yeah, it's true. Like if there's some parents who have no relationship with their child, and so they don't know if they're thriving or not, and it doesn't stop them from living the life that they're living. But yeah, I do feel like, you know, I think if you are invested in your children and you've been pouring into them and they've turned out not so great, you're going to look at you and you're going to look at yourself and think, what did I do wrong?
If you have been pouring into them.
If you've been pouring into
Definitely.
them.
I actually think the whole Rhianna and Molly May stepping down thing is actually a good thing. Again, subjective view. I think it shows women that, yes, there can be very successful times in your career, and there are also times where it's okay to take a back seat. I think we see, again, that whole the workforce thing, women going to work, striving to be at the top. I think we've seen them do that. And we've now seen them take a step back. I think that shows women that it's actually okay to want to be a mother and just enjoy that time with your child. It's actually okay to have the career that you want, that you dream of, and absolutely smash life at that, but at different points.
Exactly.
Because you have to compromise somewhere.
Exactly. And I think it goes back to just being able to relax in your femininity and just knowing that, you know, like your partner has you, or you've got a support network around you.
Yeah. Support network is so important.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. That plays a massive part in it as well.
Yeah.
I just feel like I feel like as women, we shouldn't always feel like we have to carry everything on our shoulders. Yeah. And I think if you had the ability to get yourself to the top before, you can get there again.
Yeah, facts.
So when you're ready to reapply yourself and push yourself back out there, you'll have that time. Whereas your child, once you've missed those years, you're never going to get those back. We don't live in the past.
Yeah, that's true.
So, you know, you want to make sure that you're there. You don't want to feel like you're making sacrifices that are just not going to pay off, or that you're going to look back and regret in life.
Yeah. That's the thing. So again, it's about figuring out what's important to you and when it's important to you.
Yeah.
For you at the moment, what's important to you right now? Like in this, can I have it all? I feel like I've kind of gone through a phase, so like I want to.
Yeah, I mean, like when I was younger, oh my gosh, I would have been here like, yes, women can have it all. Don't let them tell you nothing. But you know, at the end of the day, you grow up and you really start to understand life, and you look at things. You look at your surroundings as well. I look at, you know, the people around me that have had kids and who have had to make decisions on whether or not, you know, should I choose my family or am I choosing my career? And, you know, you take those backseat. A lot of them have taken the approach of family first.
Yeah.
As a woman. And so I feel like for me, I understand that when I'm ready to have kids, it'll be family first, and then everything else will be secondary. And then hopefully as time goes on, I will pick my career back up when I feel it's ready to be picked back up, and at a time that works for me and my family.
Yeah.
So that there's not compromise, because
there is still compromise. There's still compromise.
No, there's still compromise, but I mean where I don't feel like, so for example, they're in school.
Yeah.
So I'm not compromising time with them because they're in school.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah,
But yeah, so I feel like, what do you think?
I feel like before I was definitely I can do this. I've got this. You know what I mean? You see strong women growing up all the time. So, I mean, for me anyway, that was my immediate, like what I saw immediately. So you see strong women growing up all the time and you're like, yeah, I got this. And I think I've got to a later phase in my 20s when I was living in Dubai. And I can see that strong, independent, masculine energy is absolutely not what people are looking for.
No.
Do you see what I mean? It's absolutely not.
Thing, yeah.
Yeah. So I think from then on, having the right friends around me at the time made me realize, she's like, Jimmy, look.
Yeah.
You can, she's like, I want Chanel bags. I want holidays. I want my man to do the hard work. It comes with sacrifices.
Yeah.
For example, she's like, I cook for him pretty much every day. When he's got business meetings, she books all the travel. She does those types of things for him. And that's what he wanted.
Yeah, yeah.
But she was getting a much softer life, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Whereas those that want to work hard, you will work hard. Because when you played like damsel in distress to a man, he likes that more than Miss Independent. It's like, all right, Miss Independent, you do you.
Yeah, 100%.
So I think I've kind of shifted from that whole Miss Independent phase to it's actually okay to let somebody have. Yeah, it's okay to relax. It's okay to let somebody else lead. And the thing is, again, it goes into trusting your partner.
100%.
With the whole leading part. They have to be able to lead. Otherwise, you won't be able to relax.
100%. And we've spoken about this on previous episodes, so please check them out. But being able to relax in your feminine energy is very important. Having the right man lead you into in life will give you a lot more trust, give you a lot more faith. Like they say, faith is the substance of all things unseen. So you need to be able to have faith that your partner is going to direct you and lead you into the right places. So, and if you have that faith, then you'll surely be able to relax.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So, moral of the story, guys, is women cannot have it all. And if they can, it's over phases of life. Yes. So don't feel that you're failing. Don't feel like, you're behind. Your time is your time. Your season is your season. And enjoy the journey. I feel like enjoy every day. Do your best in what you can in that day. Yeah. If the soft life is what you need, have a soft life day.
Yeah. Don't allow yourself to don't compare yourself to others. Yeah. Don't feel like you have to, because this person's doing it, because Beyonce is doing tours every year. You don't know how she's raising her children.
That's
so just focus on yourself, focus on your own journey. Like Jimmy said, you can have it all in different phases, but not all at the same time.
Yeah.
And it's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay.
So on that note, guys, we're going to wrap up. I said rum. We're going to wrap up our little rum drink.
Yes. Thank you.
Cheers, my beautiful.
Cheers.
Cheers, beautifuls.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment.